Alrighty, so unfortunately we have a red day recap to give today. So the SPY was super choppy today. It was a rope-a-dope. August has low volume, so the day trading volatility is not as good as it is in other months. But be sure to pay attention because we learn a lot from our red days, and that's how we get better. So our first trade of the day was on SQ. SQ had a nice push up in the morning, and we were breaking out to all-time highs, and we were continuing this bull flag that we had on Square. And I was figuring that this next daily candle should be a pretty decent high volume candle, similar to Tesla, TSLA. By the way, congratulations to anybody who sold near 2,100. That was our bull flag measured target. But I was also looking for a move on, similar to Aapl on SQ. Aapl opened up at all-time highs, and that's the daily candle that I was looking for on SQ. And Aapl, as you can see, just went crazy all day. So this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm imagining in my head for SQ. So I went with a pretty volatile contract, just one, and I was looking to add to it, and thank goodness I didn't. But SQ had a nice push up. We broke out to all-time highs. I went long just over 158.25. We were sitting good on the position, and then SQ, my target was about at least 160, 161 ideally, and SQ hit 159.47 and immediately dropped. And it dropped so hard, so fast, that the contract itself literally dropped from $126, my entry, to about $29 in a matter of minutes. So literally over almost $100 down in just a few minutes. So we just had to cut that and let it go. So SQ, IV crush in the morning, and it sold off for the rest of the day. So SQ, 9 out of 10 times I'll take this all-time high breakout trade. More often than not, it leads to profits rather than losses. So keep an eye out for SQ. Even still, it's still good over 158, 159 next week. All right, our next trade of the day was JD. And JD, I was looking for a sympathy short trade. PDD, Pin Duo Duo, was gapping down on horrible earnings. I mean, they gapped down, pushed up, sold off. This was what I was kind of looking for in JD. And so I should have just traded PDD, but I wanted to do a sympathy because the option chain was a little bit more liquid on JD. So we had a nice push up. Then we put in this base. I probably should have went short under 74.17, but I like to go short underneath whole numbers because that gives extra confirmation to the downside that it'll sell off. So we went short right here under 74, target of about 73. So I want the stock to drop because I'm shorting it. And my stop was 74.30, and JD pushed down. That was it. I literally sold the low of the day. And thank goodness I had a tight stop, 74.32. And so that was an unfortunate small expense trade on JD. So JD, that's what I was looking for. So our next trade of the day was NEO. And NEO is actually probably our best trade of the week. So NEO, we had a nice push up in the morning, formed a nice bull flag. And I probably should have bought right over here, but I wanted to wait a little bit more confirmation. We got long over 1401 with a target of about 1430, 1440, and 1450. And we got a nice push up. I actually added over 14.15 right here. So then we were a little bit underwater on our ad, but then we started to really push up, and I added again over 14.20. So we have 3 contracts now, and NEO's pushing up really nicely. And we took one contract off at 14.30. I took another contract off right on this red candle, maybe 14.37. I was really trying to get 14.40. I took the last contract off at 14.55, and this was just a solid trade, nice push, and we actually nailed pretty much the high of the day on NEO. And I am swing trading some shares, average is about 14.10, nothing too crazy, about 35 shares just to get a decent sized delta, but NEO looking good. Our next trade of the day was AMD, and AMD, I was looking for a kind of a push up. After a big sell-off, the buyers stepped up after a big sell-off, and then they're pushing up. And so we went long on AMD right over here, over 83.72. Got a nice push up. Didn't take my profits. My target was about 85 for the amount that I was risking. But I just went a little bit too far out of the money with AMD. With shares, this would have been a break-even or slightly positive trade. But instead, I went with volatile out-of-the-money options. And so if you try to get rich quick, sometimes you'll get burned. And that was the risk that I took. So AMD, unpleasant expense trade right there, and we just went flat once it basically got back to break even on the shares, on the stock price, but not break even on the options. The options had to lose money to theta. So our next trade of the day was our swing exit on the VIX, and I got a horrible fill. We had swing traded the VIX, and we were up good. We could have taken, $120, $130 profit right back here, but the SPY has just been extremely choppy, and I just set in a stop order, and I got filled with slippage once the SPY started coming up after this breakdown candle right here. We were starting to do a topping pattern, but then once we start getting back up here after selling off, if it's trying to go lower and can't go lower, it's probably going up. So that's when I stopped out of my VIX call, which is kind of an inverse of the SPY, but not always. And so on AMD, by the way, the reason I was going long is I was looking for a really strong reversal. And what I was imagining in my head was COD type of reversal where it bases at the bottom and then really starts pushing up, putting in bull flag after bull flag. This is a 5-minute chart compared to a 1-minute chart. So this is what I was looking for in AMD, but AMD decided to just go nowhere because it's the summertime. So we put in a little awkward head and shoulders, no follow through. AMD will probably gap up next week, but that's something to keep an eye out for. And then our last trade of the day was Nike. And Nike helped end us on a good, solid revenue trade note. Nike, we went long right over 108.60. We had this nice ascending wedge and then a breakout. Not as much volume as I'd like, but everything had low volume today. But this is a nice peaceful trade. We just were able to stick with it pretty much all day. And I started peeling off profits right about 109.25. Peeled off some more profits at about 109.50. And I am swing trading one naked call and then also that we're slightly up on, and then also a debit spread to where we paid $25 for this. Our max profit is $75. And if Nike can stay above 110 by the end of next Friday, we'll collect that full $75. If not, and we don't take it at break even, I'll probably take it at break even if Nike is selling off. But if not, we'll lose $25. So that's the trades for the day. What I need to learn is when to notice when the SPY is going to be super choppy and weird, and all stocks are just kind of going back and forth. There's not really clean follow through or clean momentum, and so basically just got to keep an eye on that volume. So the chop shop, you're going to get stopped out both ways, both on calls and both on puts, and it's just not fun for being a day trader. It's okay for swing trading, especially if it's just shares, because shares don't expire, but options do. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.